Lesson 4, Principles of Ecology. Hello learners, in our previous programs, we have discussed about how our earth came in existence and what conditions were available for the survival of life on our earth planet. You have also learnt how humans have been interacting with the environment. Soon they embarked on manufacturing activities and industrialization began. Thus, rapid expansion of industrialization has resulted in depletion of natural resources and pollution of the environment. The very survival of humans is now threatened because of environmental degradation. A simple change in the environment can have a profound effect on all living things. The destructions of one species can mean the death of many other species. We cannot contribute to harm our environment due to a poor understanding of ecology. It means our surroundings. We can take one example that humans continue to destroy wildlife habitats in order to build cities and industries. We introduce contaminants into the environment and also we deplete non-renewable natural resources such as fossil fuels. This behavior, if unchanged, could someday render the earth uninhabitable. Thankfully, here is an opportunity to better understand ecology. If you study organisms and start with things that are more basic, you will develop a deeper understanding of things. When they become more complex, the understanding of animals is also essential to the survival of human beings, since we rely heavily on animals for food and clothes. Principles of ecology. Ecology will help us to understand animals more. We can research a new species that are developing in different climates and different conditions, and we can try to mock their behaviors so we can learn how to adapt to the changing environment as well. We can also research ways to help preserve our endangered wildlife, which will be beneficial to us. Lastly, we should study ecology to feed our curiosity. It would be really interesting to get a better understanding of how the world around us works. For this, you will have to understand some important concept of ecology. I am Neelam Gupta, welcome you in this program. So, today's topic is Principle of Ecology. The objectives of the program are as: define the term ecology, explain the relationship between organism and its habitat with a special mention of the human species, recognize the levels of ecological organizations from organism to population, community, ecosystem, biome and biosphere, differentiate between habitat and niche, describe the concept of species and explain the basic idea of adaptation, evolution and extinction. First question arises that what is meant by ecology, who coined this term and what is the derivation of term ecology? Then answer can be by simple words: interrelated relationship on an organism with biotic and abiotic factors of environment. The term ecology was first coined in 1869 by the German biologist Ernest Haeckel. It has been derived from two Greek words. Oikos means home or estate and logos means study. Concept of ecology can be defined as the scientific study of the relationship of living organisms with each other and with their environment. The emphasis is on relationship between organisms and the components of the environment, namely abiotic and biotic. Now we can come to the next section of this lesson, that is levels of organization. Ecological level of organization spectrum emphasize the interaction of living and non-living components leading to the formation of system at each level. For example, a community with its abiotic components makes ecosystem. Diagrammatic representation of ecological level of organization hierarchy. 7 transcending processes or functions are depicted as vertical components of 11 integrative levels of organization. It was studied after Barrett et al. 1997. Ecologists study the relationship of individual organisms with their environment and also study different levels of ecological organization. It includes individual, population, community, ecosystem, biome and biosphere. We will take one by one. Organism, that is basic unit of study. Population, a group of organisms consisting of a number of different populations that live in defined area and interact with each other. Community, a group of organisms consisting of a number of different species that live in an area and interact with each other. Next is ecosystem, a communities of organisms and their physical environment interacting as an ecological unit. Biomes, a large community unit characterized by a major vegetation type and the associated fauna found in a specific climatic region is biome. This refers basically to terrestrial areas. Aquatic systems are divided into distinct life zones on the basis of salinity. Next, biosphere, study of human activities affecting the earth like global climate, ozone hole, etc. Types of ecological studies includes study of the form, physiology, behavior, distribution and adaptation of organism in relation to environment, study of interaction between populations and interspecific relationships, study of structure and composition of community and interspecific interaction between members of communities. Study of the community in relation to the structure of its ecosystem, nutrient cycling, climate, energy flow, etc. Before taking up each of these studies, let us refer to two terms: the habitat, address of an organism, 4 components: food, water, shelter and space. 4 types of habitat: terrestrial, freshwater, estuarine and ocean. Habitat and organism. Habitat is the physical environment in which an organism lives. Each organism has particular requirement for its survival and lives where the environment provides for those needs, that is water, food and shelter. Environmental requirements of an elephant would be forest. You would not expect an elephant in the ocean, nor would you expect a whale in the forest. The features of the habitat can be represented by its structural components, namely space, food, water and cover or shelter. Habitat and its types. Habitat is a physical environment in which an organism lives. Each organism has particular requirement for its survival and lives where the environment provides for those needs: food, water and shelter. Earth has 4 major habitats: terrestrial, freshwater, estuarine and ocean. Types of terrestrial habitat can be grassland, desert, forest and tundra. Desert habitat. In desert, only those animals can live which are able to survive at very high or low temperature, drought and scarcity of food. Grassland habitat. Grassland animals are dependent on the grasses which may be seasonal or plant with low height and are more exposed to the predators' attack. Estuarine habitat includes crabs, barnacles, baleen fish and manatees. Manatees can be found in both fresh and saline water. They generally inhabit shallow, slow moving rivers, bays, canals, estuaries and other coastal waters. Marine habitat is inhabited by zebrafish, corals, sharks, dolphin and whales, etc. They require salt water. A habitat may support many different species having similar requirement. For example, a single ocean habitat may support a whale, a seahorse, seal, phytoplankton and many other kinds of organisms. The human gut is the habitat of a tapeworm, while rotting bread or log is the habitat of a fungus. We have discussed about habitat and organism. Now we will take another section of the topic, that is niche and organism. Habitat of a species is like its address, whereas niche can be thought of as its profession, that is activities and responses specific to the species. In nature, many species occupy the same habitat, but they perform different functions. The functional characteristics of a species in its habitat is referred to a niche in that common habitat. A niche is unique for a species, while many species share the habitat. No 2 species in a habitat can have the same niche. This is because if 2 species occupy the same niche, they will compete with one another until one is displaced. In nature, many species occupy the same habitat, but they perform different functions. The functional characteristics of a species in its habitat is referred to as niche in that common habitat. Habitat of a species is like its address, whereas niche can be thought of as its profession. We have already discussed about niche and habitat. Now we can take example. In this, the tree is habitat of several insects, whereas each insect has different niche. Lacebug occupies top canopy of the tree. Moth larvae feed on the shoots. Serpentine leaves. Miner requires surface of the leaf for feeding, and the white grub trophic niche is root of the tree. In this figure, competitive exclusion is this. If species 2 is removed, then species 1 will occupy whole tidal zone, but at lower depth species 2 outcompetes species is 1, excluding it from its potential niche. The term niche means the sum of all the activities and relationship of a species by which it uses the resources in its habitat for its survival and reproduction. Niche is unique for a species. While many species share the habitat, no two species in a habitat can have the same niche. Now we can take an example for ecological niche of shorebirds. Flamingos have modified bill and tongue to dig out insect from the mud. Dabbling duck bends down with its tail up to eat the submerged rooted vegetation. Avoeles feed on small insects near the surface by sweeping their tongue. Oyster catchers try opening the bivalve shell with the help of their knife-like bill. Plovers dart around beaches or grassland in search of insects. Another example is the vegetation of forest. Tall trees, short trees, shrubs, bushes and grasses all are parts of a forest but occupy different heights, and they differ in their requirement for sunlight and nutrients so that they can survive together. The most important resources in the niche of the animals are food and shelter, while that for plant is moisture and nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. The most important resources in the niche of animal are food and shelter, while in case of plant, they are moisture and nutrients. The figure shows the niche of human beings. Now we can take up our next topic in today's discussion, that is adaptation. You know that the coconut cannot grow in a desert, while a camel cannot survive in an ocean. How do they arise in nature? That is species formation. Yes, every organism is suited to live in a particular environment. Each organism is adapted to its particular environment, and adaptation is thus the appearance of behavior or structure or mode of a life of an organism that allows it to survive in a particular environment. Desert animals have raised their body above the ground by having long legs. Aquatic adaptations of an animal. An example is the formation of a streamlined body shape in aquatic animals regardless of ancestral origin. Example, sharks are fish, dolphins are mammals, penguins are birds. This illustrates convergent evolution as unrelated species have become structurally more alike due to exposure to shared selection pressure. Examples of basic adaptations help animals and plants to survive their respective environments. Let us recall some examples of basic adaptations. For aquatic adaptations, presence of gills and fins in fish for aquatic life. In aquatic flowering plants, the absence of wood formation is highly reduced. Root systems are adaptation. Adaptation can be observed in structure, behavior, or physiology of an organism, have been produced, and adaptation have a genetic basis. Thus, adaptations have developed over many generations to help a species survive successfully in its environment. Now we come to the adaptation for birds. First, shape of bird's beak, the thickness or thinness of fur, presence of feathers and wings in birds, evergreen and deciduous nature of trees, presence or absence of thorn on leaves and stems. Flight adaptation of animals. Distinct species with different ancestries evolved to have similar physical features. For example, wings of all flying animals and aerodynamic laws. Can we discuss in brief how these adaptations arise in organisms? As mentioned earlier, adaptations have a genetic basis and evolution plays a role in this process. Let us try and understand how. Now we will discuss about species and variation. A species is defined as a group of similar populations of organisms whose members are capable of interbreeding and to produce fertile offspring or children. A tiger, a lion, a lotus and a rose are examples of different species. Every species has a scientific name understood by people of all over the world. Humans belong to species of Homo sapiens. Only members of the the same species can interbreed to produce fertile offspring. Every species has its own set of genetic characteristics that makes the species unique and different from other species. Variation, however, species are generally composed of a number of distinct populations which freely interbreed even though they appear to be different in appearance. Difference in color of skin, type of hair, curly or straight, eye color, blood type among different ethnic groups represent variation within human species. Similarly, different shape and size of cows, dog and cats etc. are example of variation within each of these species. In plants, tall and short pea varieties, various shape, size of brinjals exhibit among these plant species. Variation are produced as a result of chance mutation. Competition and natural selection determine as to which variation will succeed and survive. Those variations that enable a species to survive in a struggle for existence are encouraged and promoted. In plants, we can observe wide variation in size and shape of mangoes, brinjals, etc. Next is evolution. A valid theory of evolution was propounded by Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace in 1859. This theory has been extended in the light of progress in genetics and is known as Neo-Darwinism. According to this theory, organisms tend to produce more offsprings that can be supported by the environment. Organisms reproduce in far largest that can be supported by nature. Natural selection selects among the variations, that is genes, that help the organisms to adapt to its environment. Such organisms get to grow up to adulthood and reproduce, thus pass on their genes or suitable adaptations to the next generation. Evolution has resulted in adaptation and diversity of species. Now next topic is species formation or speciation. Speciation is the process by which new species arise and evolution is the mechanism by which speciation is brought about. A species comprises of many populations. Different populations often get isolated due to geographic barriers, examples mountains, river, ocean etc. When a population that was interbreeding otherwise gets separated into two completely isolated populations by a barrier which prevents their interbreeding and gene exchange. Ecological mutations caused by differences in temperature, humidity, pH etc. in the environment of the two populations. Mutations occur randomly in isolated populations, giving rise to new variation within each subpopulation. Of these mutations, those that help to adapt to the environment are reproduced in greater numbers due to natural selections. In other words, since no two environments are identical, natural selection pressure also operates in different ways depending upon local conditions. So not selection affects each subspecies in different ways, so different variations get selected or established. With passage of time, the subpopulation became very different and get isolated reproductively and can no longer interbreed. Later, when the barriers is removed, the subpopulation are still not able to interbreed and are still not able to interbreed and become two distinct species. There is an example of formation of new species. An example of speciation is seen in the two species of squirrel, kebab squirrels and abbot squirrels that lived opposite side of the Grand Canyon. The two squirrel populations have become separate species about 1 million years ago. Due to the change course of river Colorado, the original population was split by this river and the environment on the two sides in very different. Hawaiian Island, a single finch-like ancestor gave rise to about 40 different species of honey creepers. Each is specialized in bill shape and size as selected by its particular microhabitat and diet. Colors may have evolved in response to sexual selection. Now we will discuss next section, that is extinction. Ever since life evolved on Earth, new species better suited or adapted to the environment have appeared and older, less successful forms have died or become extinct. Extinction is generally a natural occurrence. It means the dying out of a variety of or a species. Primary reason for these extinction is environmental change or biological competition. Extinction occurs when a species cannot evolve fast enough to cope with the change taking place in the environment. Extinction and speciation go side by side. Less successful forms become extinct. It is generally natural occurrence. The primary reason is environmental change or biological competition. Species become extinct when they cannot evolve with the changing environment fast enough. Humans to contribute by deforestation, environmental degradation, etc. We can say human interference is enhancing the natural process of extinction of a species. Extinction occurs when a species cannot evolve fast enough to cope with the changes taking place in the environment. Many species have gone extinct due to geological history of the earth. Fossils are the preserved remains of animals, plants and other organisms that lived in the geological past. Now we have come to the end, or I would like to add few main points as what you have learned. Ecology may be defined as a scientific study of the relationships between each other and with their environment. The term ecology was coined by Ernest Haeckel in 1869. Ecology encompasses study of individual organisms, population, community, ecosystem, biome and biosphere, which form the various levels of ecological organization. Habitat is the physical environment in which an organism lives. Niche refers to the functional position of a species in its habitat. Species is a group of population whose individual members are capable of interbreeding with each other to produce a fertile offspring. Evolution is the change which gives rise to new species. Mutation and recombination are sources of variation or differences in the genetic makeup or gene pool of a species. Natural selection is the mechanism proposed by Darwin and Wallace which interacts with variation to cause greater reproduction of these genes which help in adaptive to the environment. Thus, evolution results in adaptation. Evolution leads to speciation or formation of new species. Isolation is the factor which supports specimen. Isolation is of two major types, that is geographical isolation and reproductive isolation. Many species, however, have been lost forever or not a single individual belonging to these species which once existed are now present. Extinction may occur due to catastrophic events in nature or due to human activities. Thank you.
पच्चीस साल का लंबा सफर और लाखों लोगों के चेहरों पर खिलती मुस्कान, गर्व और गरिमा से जीने की प्रेरणा देती मुस्कान, आत्मसम्मान और विश्वास से पैदा हुई मुस्कान। इन खिलते चेहरों पर ये मुस्कान आई है शिक्षा के जरिए। ये मुस्कान आई है नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग यानी NIOS के जरिए। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग या राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान, इस संस्थान का एक बड़ा उद्देश्य है आम आदमियों के जीवन को बेहतर बनाना। ऐसे लोग जिनके लिए शिक्षा एक दूर का सपना है या वे बच्चे जो परिवार की रोजी रोटी कमाने के लिए बीच में ही स्कूल छोड़ने पर मजबूर हो जाते हैं। NIOS ऐसे बच्चों और बड़ों को दोबारा शिक्षा से जुड़ने का मौका मुहैया कराता है ताकि वे एक बेहतर जीवन जी सकें। 1989 में स्थापना के बाद NIOS ने देश के लाखों बच्चों और वयस्कों को बेहतर शिक्षा से जोड़ा है। इनमें हर उम्र, हर पृष्ठभूमि, हर जाति, हर मजहब और हर क्षेत्र के लड़के लड़कियां, महिलाएं और पुरुष शामिल हैं। बढ़ई से लेकर पायलट, डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, बेकर और दर्जी तक NIOS कोशिश कर रहा है सबको शिक्षित और सशक्त बनाने की, चाहे वो असम के दूर दराज इलाके में रहने वाला हो या फिर मुंबई जैसे महानगर का। NIOS ने अपनी मौजूदगी हर जगह दर्ज कराई है। NIOS ने शिक्षा की परंपरागत सोच को ही बदल दिया है। वो पढ़िए जो हम पढ़ाते हैं की जगह NIOS की नई सोच है, हम वो पढ़ाते हैं जो आप पढ़ना चाहते हैं। इस नई सोच ने लोगों को आगे बढ़ने और NIOS के साथ जुड़ने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया है। शिक्षा उपलब्ध कराने के मामले में NIOS किसी सीमा को नहीं मानता, उम्र की सीमा को भी नहीं। चंडीगढ़ के गणेश के लिए भी NIOS एक वरदान साबित हुआ। NIOS शारीरिक रूप से अक्षम बच्चों को भी बेहतर शिक्षा मुहैया कराने के लिए पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध है। ऐसे बच्चों के लिए शिक्षा न केवल रोजगार के द्वार खोलती है, बल्कि उन्हें आत्मविश्वास और गर्व के साथ जीना भी सिखाती है। NIOS खेल के इन सितारों को उनकी सुविधा और समय के अनुसार बेहतर शिक्षा उपलब्ध कराता है। मेरी कॉम, सोमदेव देववर्मन, देविका रेबेका पल्लिकल, अरमान इब्राहिम, प्रद्युमन प्रकाश और अमय जोत सिंह। NIOS सीमा पर खड़े उन प्रहरियों को भी शिक्षा से लाभान्वित करता है जो देश की सुरक्षा के लिए अपनी जान की बाजी लगाने से भी नहीं चूकते। सच तो ये है कि NIOS की पहुंच हर ओर रहती है, चाहे वो दूर दराज के आदिवासी हो या जेल की कोठरी में बंद कैदी या फिर ग्रामीण और शहरी क्षेत्रों के गरीब निवासी। देश में कहीं भी कोई भी व्यक्ति, स्त्री, पुरुष, लड़का, लड़की, अमीर, गरीब शिक्षा से वंचित न रहे। राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान का यही मिशन है।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान पूरे देश में शिक्षा के साथ साथ कौशल विकास के क्षेत्र में बहुत सारे कोर्सेज दे रहा है। लगभग 100 से ज़्यादा कोर्सेज हैं। हम दूर दराज के गांव में अपने संस्थान बनाते हैं और वहाँ के बच्चों को, वहाँ के बच्चियों को, वहाँ के वयस्कों को हुनर के क्षेत्र में शिक्षा पहुँचाते हैं। आपको जानकर खुशी होगी कि अब हम आर्ट, साइंस, कॉमर्स जिन क्षेत्रों में 12वीं का सर्टिफिकेट दिया जाता रहा है, अब हम हुनर के क्षेत्र में, वोकेशनल एरिया में भी 10वीं और 12वीं का सर्टिफिकेशन करेंगे। तो वो बच्चे जो कृषि से जुड़े हुए हैं, कारपेंट्री से जुड़े हुए हैं या दूसरे क्षेत्रों से जुड़े हुए हैं, वो अपने ही क्षेत्र में काम करेंगे, सीखेंगे, हुनर पैदा करेंगे अपने में और सर्टिफाइड भी होंगे कि वो सर्टिफाइड कृषक हैं, खेतिहर हैं। तो आज तक जो हमारे देश में ये सोच रही है कि आप 12वीं पास तभी कहे जाएंगे जब भूगोल, अर्थशास्त्र, भौतिकी ये पढ़ेंगे, अब ये समय बदल गया है। ITI में जितने बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, लगभग 18 लाख बच्चे हर साल दाखिला लेते हैं। अब हम उनको सर्टिफिकेशन करेंगे।
NIOS अपने छात्रों को माध्यमिक स्तर पर 26 और उच्च माध्यमिक स्तर पर 19 विषयों का विकल्प देता है। पढ़ाई किस माध्यम से करनी है, इसमें भी आपको लचीलापन मिलेगा। माध्यमिक स्तर पर ही 7 भाषाओं के अलग अलग माध्यमों का विकल्प मौजूद है। शैक्षणिक कार्यक्रमों के अलावा 86 वोकेशनल शिक्षा कार्यक्रम भी उपलब्ध हैं, जो छात्रों को कामकाजी दुनिया के लिए तैयार करते हैं। वोकेशनल प्रशिक्षण को अधिक सुदृढ़ बनाने के लिए NIOS ने ITDC, सिस्को, इंडियन मेडिकल एसोसिएशन जैसे कई सरकारी और गैर सरकारी संस्थानों के साथ भागीदारी स्थापित की है। आज लाखों छात्रों के लिए अपनी पसंद का स्कूल है राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान यानी नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग। NIOS ने एक लंबा सफर तय किया है, लेकिन मंजिल अभी दूर है। निरंतर विकास और नवीनीकरण के लिए NIOS सदैव प्रतिबद्ध है। शिक्षा का उद्देश्य महज रोजगार जुटाना ही नहीं है, बल्कि स्वयं को सशक्त बनाना भी है। NIOS लाखों छात्रों के लिए यही आत्मसम्मान दिलाने में जुटा है। लाखों लोगों के लिए एक आशा और उम्मीद है। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग। शिक्षा सबके लिए, कहीं भी, कभी भी।